on, Armor King TV21 here, and today we have another video coming at you guys with returning characters, possible returning characters for Tekken 8, and more or less, just something I would say would be insanely interesting to bring these characters back, or what kind of means it would mean for these characters to come back in general. And I just wanted to make a quick tier list about this. It's just something I thought would be very fun. And the first things first, returning characters that I think would be sick. I'm gonna start with the obvious top tiers. We're gonna leave the characters alone that, you know, that are already in the game. But I'm gonna put this one up here first. Would be sick. I think a waifu character like Kazumi Mishima would be entirely sick, and her being in her heat mode with being Devil Kazumi would be extremely interesting. It would be very fun to see what they do with her as a character. Next thing that I want to get moving on to, I think it would be okay if Christy Monttero did come back. It wouldn't be the best thing in the world, but you could actually bring back Christy and have her have the original moveset that Eddie Gordo had before the rework, and she would be widely accepted, beloved even. I think it wouldn't be as bad, but Eddie has become like this huge, gargantuan 50-50 machine. A lot of people don't like fighting this character, but Christy could be the bounce back for that. They would actually return the character to their original means with relaxed stance and stuff like that. So I think bringing her back would be an interesting decision. I don't think it's the best, but she does have a bigger fan base that a lot of people don't like talking about, but I feel like she's a character that deserves, you know, a little bit of attention. And another character that needs to be brought back, like that would be awesome, would be Bruce Irving. But considering the current climate of Tekken characters, we already have a very good Muay Thai representative with Fakumlam. But it would be very interesting if they did bring back Bruce with a little bit of a rework to his moveset while still retaining a lot of his original tools like back 2 and stuff like that. Now, do I think back 2 as a counter hit tool for launching would be broken? Yeah, but if it was like a move that went into a 14-frame heat engager, I think it'd be a little less to worry about. A character that also would be cool to bring back would be Forest Law. Now, yes, I am talking a lot about clone characters, but I think Forest Law has a chance of being a very interesting character as long as he's reworked in a way that isn't too disrespectful to him. I mean, him and Law were strictly very clone heavy, but they reanimated Forest in a way that just, you know, was very visually pleasing to the eye in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and I believe it would be very interesting to see what they do with him. Another character that's kind of controversial, but I think it would be awesome if they did bring back Eliza. Now, I'm gonna get shit for this. It's because this character was a 2D character when released into Tekken 7, and saw a rise in popularity, like, as soon as she came out, right? But in Tekken Revolution, she was more of a Tekken-like character with some projectiles, and she was the first hint of projectiles in Tekken. And not a lot of people messed with that very, very well, but honestly, with Tekken 8 and Heat, I can see her being a very, like, a more balanced version of the character that she was beforehand. And it would be, I think it would be extremely interesting if she came back, but at the same time, like, we don't want any, like, 2D aspects of the characters at all, so if we have to, like, bringing back Eliza would be interesting. A obvious rework would have to be put in place, but I think she would be very cool. A lot of people want this character to come back, but this is technically one of my first least favorites, and that's Angel, because I originally liked the premise of Angel when she first came out, and Tekken Tag 2 has definitely sullied my taste for the character a lot. And it doesn't help that while she is very much like a Mishima in a lot of regards, she did not... she was the worst Mishima in Tag 2, and that's saying a lot considering, like, characters like Kazuya existed and stuff like that. Like, Kazuya in Tag 2, I don't think was the best character in the game, but he still had, like, a lot of damage things going for him. And then you have, like, Angel, which is just the worst version of Devil Jin imaginable. And it's just, it's not fair to the character. If they brought her back, she would be one of my least favorites, but she would be very interesting. A character that I think definitely is going to get reworked if they are brought back, but would be awesome if they brought back, would be Gigas. Now, I have a few friends that do play Gigas, so maybe my opinion is a bit biased here, but Gigas as a character was explored a little bit story-wise, and he had something going on with Katarina, and Katarina would be cool as well, so I'm going to put her right underneath Gigas. Why she's only cool compared to Gigas is awesome, it's gameplay. That's all I'm saying. It's just the gameplay. But for Gigas, it would be very awesome if they brought this character back. Mostly because he is a big, burling character. He was the original holder of muscle armor that was on King. And honestly, if they kept that on him, and it was retained in a certain way that was just melded together, I honestly think, I know I'm talking a lot of gibberish and jabbering on, but I think Gigas does have a chance to be extremely interesting, especially with his chargeback moves, like guard-breaking, like moves that are like, hey man, if you block this, I'm gonna be Mundo Omega Plus and stuff like that. His moveset is not as unique as it was in Tekken 7 compared to like characters with Fakuram, and now Tekken 8 Brian and Tekken 8 Fakuram. And I want to see what they could do with Gigas in Tekken 8. I do really want to see that happen. A character that I think would be cool, but not awesome, maybe even okay, would be Bake Dosan. Bake Dosan would be an okay character to bring back into the game, but also take into the fact that he's the guy that taught Hwoarang his move list. Like, Hwoarang is a very toxic character, right? Extremely toxic. Now, bringing back all of these tools that Hwoarang has now, you could say that bringing back Bake would be very redundant, but like I said, he would be very interesting. He'd be okay to bring back because there is somewhat of a fan base that is behind him. He would be somewhat interesting. I feel like he would be more than likely reworked, but not so extremely to the point where it's like maybe it's not going to be as insane as the rework that they did with Heihachi, or even the rework that they did with Eddie Gordo. But I still see potential in bringing back Bake Dosan. Alex, I'm definitely going to put in the would be sick. And for Roger Jr., I'm going to be putting into the awesome category. Now, I obviously have a bias for dinosaurs, so I'm definitely going to put Alex above Roger, but this would be sick to bring this character back, maybe this character as well, but that is because these two are definitely, like, clones that spring off of the heels of Armor King and King, but bringing them back would also be very unique because it would bring back, like, old school animations for these characters while also retaining their classicness. So I think that if these two are especially reworked, I think if you gave like Alex a electric Wind Godfist or even a Dark Upper, and you gave like Roger the more King-esque move list, you could probably get away with a few things that are very interesting. They even gave both of these characters launching Hell Sweeps, which are probably going to be null and void in Tekken 8 when they do come out, so they're not going to be as strong as they were when they were in the Tekken Tag 2 games. Another character that would be coming back, I'm going to put this one, Josie, for like, would be sick. There she is. Alright, I'm gonna put her in awesome. I like Josie way more than I like Julia, but I'm a grappler main, so I mean, a lot of the things I can say can be null and void about that, but this character, Josie, would be absolutely sick, and Julia, again, would be absolutely insane. Like, this character is really strong in Tekken 7, and at the very end of Tekken 7, she was, like, she was good. And, honestly, I feel like her coming back is somewhat like a series staple. She was very interesting. Making her a streamer girl was honestly a really good move, especially since, like, it was very big. Like, streaming became, like, a very big thing, especially in the 2020s. So, like, her coming back and her having a new persona was a little more interesting. I do like the fact that she was an environmentalist, so bringing that aspect back of her for her in Tekken 8 would also be very, like, it would be brownie points for the original Julia mains that love her so much. Another character that I do want to talk about is Jinpachi Mishima and how he would be very awesome. Balance-wise, he would be a very hard character to deal with. Explaining how this character comes back would be kind of detrimental, very disturbing, but I think there is a way to do it. But just so you know, Jinpachi Mishima was extremely strong in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I would not miss the chance of them bringing back this character alongside with both the means of Ogre and even True Ogre. I'm going to put these two at Be Awesome. Awesome and both would be sick. Honestly, all three of these characters are kind of like a set. Tekken having all of their boss characters back and essentially be like non-boss playable versions of themselves is somewhat fitting for the Tekken genre, and honestly, I feel like these... Honestly, I would definitely like to see a fight between Jinpachi Ogre and True Ogre to be just a thing that happens. It would be extremely interesting. That's all I gotta say about it. I hope that happens one of these times. Miguel, I despise this character. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I actually hate fighting him. This is one of those characters that are just designed to be a full-on stance character with amazing stance pressure. Hard to get away from tools in general. Sidestepping is almost basically impossible. But he fits the criteria for Tekken 8 almost perfectly to a T. And it would definitely be sick to see him bounce off of Jin with his personality and his story. Considering that Jin has gone and followed his heart now, there's going to be a lot of guilt weighing in on Jin's heart once this character comes back to put Jin in his place. So I'd definitely like to see just the chemistry that happens between those characters there. This would definitely be my least favorite, and this would be cool. But why this would be my least favorite, and these two play very similarly. For me, honestly, I don't know. I'm going to put her at okay, even then, because she should be a dead character now, so her coming back is a lot less likely, but same goes for Jinpachi. But this character would be okay, but this would be one of my least favorites. I know a lot of you guys really like Kunimitsu, but Kunimitsu as a character was extremely terrible to deal with gameplay-wise. Unless they completely rework her to be a far less annoying character, a lot less powerful, there's going to be issues to deal with in general, and her throwing a kunai at you from across the stage is definitely one of them. It's almost, it would literally be like fighting a female version of Victor with better neutral buttons and tools, as if Victor didn't really control the neutral by himself. Another character that would be my least favorite would be Lucky Chloe. I've had a lot of run-ins with Azure Bouquet, and let me tell you, that is the one of the Lucky Chloes of America next to Kaiser. Kaiser is the person I'm thinking of. Him and Kaiser, definitely, I already want their character back. She's, obviously, I don't like fighting against her, and in all honesty, she's not as bad personality-wise to deal with compared to other characters. She would definitely she fits better in the okay section than the least favorite, but she's definitely not fun to fight against, especially against a really good Lucky Chloe player. So keep that in mind. It's mostly because my character did not have the most amazing tools to fight Lucky Chloe. Not the most amazing ones, but it would be very interesting to see how she gets worked around in Tekken 8. Another character that I would be okay with is Bob Richards. He's definitely not my favorite, and honestly, I do kind of want to see the real Mac / Magnificent come back and beat some ass with this character. Honest to God, guy's a homie. We don't really talk too much, but I would like to see him have his main character back and him popping off in tournament again. So it'd be an interesting thing to see this character come back and see what his gameplay is like in Tekken 8. It's not going to be fun to fight against. It's kind of the same thing I feel about with Miguel, but like Miguel, I think it would be sick because, you know, there's story implications. This character doesn't really offer anything for me, other than I kind of just want to see one of the NA homies happy. As for Josie, kind of a cool character. She would be cool if she came back. It's almost runs with the same thing that comes with Bruce. Honestly, I would put her right here because I like the character personally a lot, but I already know a lot of people don't like her that much. I think it would be cool, personally, if she did come back, though. Josie does offer some things of her own that Fakumlam doesn't have, but Bruce has. So, like, if we got Josie over Bruce, I'm not going to complain too much, but there's definitely going to be a lot of Bruce players that are going to be livid, and I don't blame them. But Josie Rizal, I actually really liked her character. She was just really silly. She was one of those characters that if you got your butt beat by her, you did not like getting beat by her. And she had a lot of very interesting strings that led to very interesting situations. She had a 13-frame launching string, so she was another one of those characters that were really hard to, like, get any kind of momentum against. But she would be very interesting. Another, oh gosh, this is going to be an obvious least favorite. Craig Marduk. My obvious implications mostly come from my story and bias, but also from a gameplay standpoint, this character is absolutely terrible to fight against. And there would be means and options for this character to be able to launch you at 14 frames. You don't want this character in Tekken 8, but FeedyX already has a very good video about that. I'm going to leave that in this tagged right up above me, right over here, right over to the right, top right corner. Click that card. Click that card and go check out FeedyX's video, and he'll explain to you why exactly you do not want Craig Marduk in Tekken 8. Now, moving on to the next thing, another character that I would think would be actually very awesome to come back. Yes, and it's another clone character, and that would be Master Raven. Master Raven can be completely reworked and honestly kept to be more of the style in which Tekken 7 was brought about for Raven. This character would be extremely interesting to be brought back for one thing because she has a sword, and at the same time, you could definitely mess around with this character and play with her moveset a little bit more than what you could with Raven. Like, Raven has the shadow clones. Master Raven could have something else. You know, she could also have clones, but it not be the main central of her gameplay. So, there's that. I definitely hope to see Master Raven come back at some point. But, again, this is another one of the things for the homies. You know, one of my homies plays this character. Definitely want to see their main character come back. I mean, they do play Raven, but, I mean, Master Raven is the waifu of all time. I don't think Miharu should come back, but she's just as much as a clone character as the others. So, you know what? I'll put her in okay. For Michelle, I'll put her in cool, but for characters that, like, I don't know, maybe Unknown would be sick, you know? Unknown would probably be very sick, because then you could tip June's entire move list in favor of having something that interesting. You could do something like that. You could actually make this like a dark devil-like move list and go crazy with that. You could get ultra creative with Unknown, you know what I mean? As for other characters, like, oh yeah, you know what? This character does need to come back, like, no matter what. I'm putting him at the top. Mokujin. Mokujin needs to come back. But the reason why I say Mokujin needs to come back is because he's a clone character. And clone characters, obviously, the reason why we might not even see him return is because of the factoid of dealing with DLCs and him being able to, you know, play as the character that is in that has a DLC moveset that you'd be able to practice against, and people would just not like to deal with that. Now, I am gonna omit guest characters, like completely ignore them, but the obvious answer about them returning should be that they should never really come back. They're a guest, they're a one-time thing, and they shouldn't happen like more than once. Maybe Akuma could come back, but everybody would definitely complain about Akuma. I certainly wouldn't like Akuma to come back, personally. I think he's a super sick guest character. Goki, you know, he's one of the coolest Street Fighter characters to ever exist. Bringing him back, yeah, you could do that, but there's risks to it. And Combat would be kind of cool if we're replacing Combat with Mokujin, etc., etc. It's pretty much a clone character of Mokujin. It's just a Tekken 4's version of Mokujin. Now let's talk about Lei Wulong. Lei Wulong would be one of my least favorite characters to come back. Because, yes, he is an extremely legacy character, but fighting this character is like putting your fingers into a blender and turning it on to the max settings while also trying to take ibuprofen for pain reliever. Like, this character is extremely unfun to fight. Now, does that heavily influence my opinion of the character? Yes, but I'm not gonna say he's not a cool character. Wuong is a sick character, and you know what? I might just bump him up to cool. But he is extremely oppressive and unfun to fight, and he would not make any sense. I think bringing him back for Tekken 8 would make sense, because he is one of the most stance-heavy characters ever. And I'm just gonna put this in least favorite. Like, let's not talk about that guy too much. Bringing back Prototype Jack, I don't see it happening, but he would be okay. Like, a lot of these clone characters, I don't see exactly coming back. Like, especially this one. Dr. Boskanovich coming back would be very cool, but, I mean, I think he's also canonically dead. You could always write somebody to come back to life anytime you want to, so there is also that. But Wang Jinrei, yeah, bringing him back would be very awesome. He has a huge fan base, and the character is extremely interesting. He basically offers some things that Julia or Michelle do not offer, while also being a very interesting Perry-esque character. And it would be very cool to see Wang Jinrei interact with, I can't remember his name, Leroy Smith. Yeah, it would be very interesting to see those characters interact with each other. I would love that. As for anything else for these characters, I think this is a pretty darn good list. In all honesty, this is straightforward, awesome, no matter what you think about it. But, yeah, these are the kind of characters that I think, when it comes to returning to Tekken 8, or returning to Tekken at all, would be very fun. So, yeah, everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys like this video. If you guys don't agree with my take, come into my comment section, tell me why you think your character, etc., should deserve to be in the would-be sick list, right? I mean, everybody has a different opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!